Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today I'm canning ground beef. Now, as you all know, ground beef cannot be canned raw packed, and this is frozen. This is the way farmers, if they sell their meat here in Quebec, it has to be frozen. And these came in, this is lean hay-fed beef, and really lean. Can you see that? I've got almost 20 pounds here, but it came in packages that were over 2 pounds. And that's just too much for Howie and I. So I'm just going to slow roast this down in an oven at about 250 degrees to 300 degrees, stirring every once in a while until it's ready to be packed in the jars. Until it's cooked and ready to be packed in the jars. Okay, so here we are. Raph and I got talking, and my hamburger has now roasted into a great big lump. But that's okay, because it's going to, I'm going to bust it up. I'm actually going to take it out. Once I know it's fully cooked, I'm just going to take it out and bang it around with a potato masher. Okay, so here's my pressure canner with the required amount of water in the bottom, a rack, and a shot of white vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. Here, this is the next day. Here is my ground beef. Now, I'm going to urge you folks, when you're doing this in the roasting pan like I did, don't just throw it all in there and go sit down and visit, because what happens is it roasts in big chunks, and I had to break it all up. Here's our washed clean lids and our jars. This is a much simpler way of canning, especially when the meat's done, because guess what? Whoops, there's no debubbling, there's no, you can do this with broth if you want. But then if you're adding it to, say, a spaghetti sauce, it's watered down. And then it's not really ready for taco night either, is it, if it's got broth in it? So I just like to dry can my hamburger. Now, when I am canning meat, even when I'm dry canning, I like to dampen my paper towel with some vinegar. You don't want to pack this down, anything, but please, folks, always wipe your rims and threads with a clean, damp paper towel. Please, folks, do not raw pack hamburger, okay? Fingertip tight and into the canner that goes. Now, I'm not adding salt because I gave it a sprinkle, I don't know, tablespoon of salt when I was roasting it, so I'm not really worried about adding any more, and it's not really a preservation thing but a flavor thing. So, and you'll get approximately a pound per pint, because as my brother John was fond of saying, or is fond of saying, a pint's a pound the whole world round. So when I have all this meat jarred up, we'll be back. All right, I have 8 jars in the bottom, then I have a wire rack on top of those jars, and I have 7 more in here. So we're going to put our lid on, and as soon as this starts, it's already spouting, but as soon as this makes a vigorous, when I say a spout of steady steam, I mean you hear it pushing and hissing. Okay, so when that starts to spout a steady stream of steam, I will set my timer for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I have to wash some more jars. There's that spout a steady stream of steam. My little button has popped up. So we are going to set this for 10 minutes while I fill the next canner. Okay, our timer has gone off. We're going to tell it to shut its mouth now. And so now we're going to put our 10-pound weight on. Make sure you check your manufacturer's directions, because if you're 1,000 feet or more above sea level, your weights and measures and times may change, okay? So as soon as this produces a vigorous jiggle, I'm going to start timing these for, I believe it's 70 minutes for pints, 95 minutes for quarts. So we're doing pints. We'll be back when I set the timer. Okay, there is our first vigorous jiggle. I'm going to turn my stove down just a little bit. And I'm going to set my timer. And I will double check my time, so I'm pretty sure it's 70 minutes for pints. Now I got to go chase pigs out of my yard. My timer has gone off, so I've shut my canner off, and I was wrong. It is 75 minutes for pints, 90 minutes for quarts. Yay! I did forget to mention, always let your canners cool naturally. Do not plunge them into cold water. Do not jiggle the weight. And for heaven's sakes, do not try and open the canner until you can hold your hands on its sides for 5 seconds comfortably. And I mean 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. It's a part of the canning process. It really is. You have to let it cool down on its own. And there it is. 22 pints of canned ground beef. Now, I didn't do full pints, so it's not a pound each, obviously. That's 22 meals. Whether it's in a homemade can of spaghetti sauce, or on a pizza, or in a casserole, or in a taco, having ground beef in your pantry is just a really good idea. Take care, God bless.